Afternoon, folks. Here is my new vlog, which will take into account yesterday's a very eventful fishing trip. Bit of a prelude would be that's been chatting to a lad called Niall, who from now on will be known as the Nomad. But Nomadic Niall had mentioned two waters that neither myself and my regular partner in crime, Drew, we'd never even heard of them, so did a bit of research, and one water seemed to be more favourable than the other. Feedback was that it was fishing reasonably well, and it had big chunks in, notably a 37 pounder. The other water, not taking anything away, we'll be fishing that one the next time we go, possibly anyway. But definitely the next time me and Drew go, we'll be going on to the second water. But anyway, so we set off, as we always do, early AM. And to say the place is somewhat of a Bermuda Triangle would be an understatement. So you put the postcode into your sat-nav, and we're driving along. It just says you've arrived at your destination in the middle of a fucking terraced block. Obviously, we weren't going to go wading through people's back gardens looking for ponds. So onto the old Google Maps. There's a plug for your Google. And yes, we found the waters eventually. But even when we found them, we didn't know we'd found them, because you sort of go up a dodgy path, and then you end up at a set of houses in the middle of nowhere. So it took a phone call to the Nomad, and he said, yeah, you're in the right place. You walk past that house, you go through their garden, look out for the dog, and there's a gate, like a little shed. Go through the gate and you'll see there's a big water. You weren't wrong. What a weird setup. So we went to the ticket office, and obviously for social distancing reasons it says one person at once. I think that must have included the person who was taking the money for the fishing, because that one person wasn't in when I got there, so he must have gone out as I'd gone in. As I came out, he must have gone back in. But, you know, being honest people, we thought, well, they might come round on the lodge later and collect the money. Anyway, besides the point, walked onto the banks of this lodge. Looked nice. A few lily pads around, well maintained. It was a body of water. There's a guy opposite, right in the far corner. He was either trying to swat a wasp or a bee or something, but he was sort of waving. Became apparent that was the Nomad in his first swim. Anyway, trundled round with barrow, laden with my kit, Drew's kit. Excuse me for 1 second. Yeah, got to the water, and it looked fishy. I mean, it was screaming carp. Dead flat. Bubbles literally everywhere. It was bubbling like Billy O. You have to excuse me, I've got something in my eye. Must be a tear for Niall. Anyway, gets in, sets up. Well, saying sets up. Tackle my first rod up, using the new secret prototype glug. It's just a Scopex boiler, but the glug is top secret. It's got stuff in it. Fucking stinks. So cast that rod out. I'd looked at the survey from 1953, when the water was last drained, and some technical guru had actually laid out the depths and everything. So I had a rough idea of the depth. It's just like a sink, so you come out, it doesn't really have a shallow end as such. Deepest water's 8 foot. Actually, that's a lie. Deepest water's about 10 foot, but where we were, it was 8 foot, and it was just a basin. So there was no features outside, no plateau. The only feature as such was to the left of me there was a sunken tree, obviously fallen in at some point many years ago, still growing, and the Nomad was sort of in the bay, so he's fishing the margins, and the tree's sort of to his left, but more in his swim. So I'm surveying it, and I thought, well, I'll just chuck one rod in the middle with one of my new stockings on. 8 different types of pellet, 8 different types of boiler, crumbed up, glugged up on the bank. Chuck that out, put it on the optonic, or as it now Delkins. So yeah, chuck that rod out, and I go about putting my landing net up. So landing net's up, and that rod screams off. I mean, it went off like a fucking missile. Drew had forgotten something from the car, so he's not even heard the run. Niall helped me land this fish, £10, 3 ounce. Not a bad start, really. Quite happy with that. I thought, we're on for a blinder here. You know, if that's all we just hit the deck and it's off, got a chance. Got to have a chance. So, cast that back out, same place. While I'm setting up my next rod, Drew's already back by this point. Drew set his rods up, he's out. Niall's still in swim number 1. Cast my second rod, and I give it a long chuck straight over to the far margins. I was fishing about, I'd say 6 to 8 foot off the bank under a nice overhanging willow. I couldn't have got it in a better place, so I thought, that's got a PVA stocking on for the mix. And we sat there. And the Nomad, I think he must have been a bit restricted. I felt a bit guilty actually when he moved for the first time, because he was fishing this way as we were fishing that way. So, kind of restricted his swim. So, for the record, Niall, sorry about that, mate. But anyway, he moved the next peg up from Drew and chucked out. Always well with the world. And the left-hand rod got a bit of a run on it. It wasn't a screamer like the first one, but it was definitely pick up. The bobbin went straight to the top. So, listening to it, as I'm reeling in, I can see the horrible thing that everyone sees every now and again. Line that way, my line that way, and a swim feeder hanging 13 footer. Anyway, it pulled off, but there was definitely a line straight across. Someone's lost tackle, probably in the snaggy tree. So I thought about, I'm not going to do that, because if it's going to be there, and I don't want to be picking that up or it winding around the fish. I mean, there might have been a hook still on it. So I thought, oh, now Niall's moved, cheeky bastard, I'll just chuck my rod where he's already baited up. Nice of him, that, weren't it? Anyway, nothing really happens. Niall tried to throw his rod in at one point. Forgot to take his bail arm off. Bit of a laugh. And then really, to put it in layman's terms, fuck all happened. Absolutely fuck all. 12 o'clock came, and I was like, have a bit of a wander around. It looks, and there's a lodge. Now I've got to tell you, this bit, something did happen. The path where we're fishing, the pegs are sort of offset into the water. You know the type. The path's about 8 foot wide, tops. And when I set my chair up after my first fish, I must have been a bit excited. So I don't think I put my legs down properly. And I sort of descended backwards that far from going in the lodge that's directly behind me, which is number 2 water there. So I nearly ended up in the work. I just went off a fucking one. You know, that would have been quite amusing, wouldn't it? For everybody apart from me. You know, Fat Burnley fan drowns in lodge in Chilwell. No, just wouldn't have been funny. Anyway, everyone had a laugh. And then Niall came walking along and he spotted a good shoal of fish. They were only past his sort of 5-6 pounders, but you know, he spotted these fish on the next water. So Mr. Richie Bollocks gets himself up after fishing in swim number 2 for 2 hours possibly, and off he goes in pursuit of the fish. At this point, this fish showing everywhere, but they're not feeding. They're not feeding at all, and I have to just keep getting the bait going in. You know, but eventually the sun was cracking the flags. They're all sort of like basking, backs out like that far out of the water, big bow waves off them. Some nice chunks, so there's definitely good fish in there. You know, there's fish jumping left, right and centre, but not one of them is eating. So anyway, the Nomad goes to swim number 3, which is sort of behind his first swim, but on a different lodge. So I can hear him chucking out, and he's casting left, right and centre, and I don't know if he was trying to catch him or kill him, but needless to say, nobody was fishing. I mean, there's best count, there's probably about 6-7 anglers on the water. Nobody's catching, I think. So yeah, just plodding on. Anyway, the left-hand rod does, like I say, it goes beep, 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 beep. Took a bit of line, bobbins up, struck into it, and I'm starting reeling in. This fucking swim feeder, again. So the line must have been fucking miles out, but I've caught this swim feeder. If you don't know it's bad quality, you've caught womble. Sorry, big skip truck just went past. So yeah, gets this swim feeder, and I'm reeling it in, slowly and slowly. You know, I thought, well, if I'm going to catch something, I might as well catch a bit of tackle. And the irony is that me and Drew had only been talking about this, that every water we fish, we always come back with a little bit more tackle than what we've gone with. So I guess this swim feeder a bit closer, and my hook is around its hook. Comes that. So I reels it in, gets it closer, close enough to get hold of it. Now, the one thing I will say is, fisheries have rules. And when the rules are, no barbless hooks, no fixed rigs, they're there for the welfare of the fish. Yeah? Not because they want you to buy barbless hooks, or because they don't want you to lose your fucking end tackle. They're there for a reason, and that's to stop the fish getting hurt. So, when I wax this fucking thing in, it's got about, I can see about 8 swan shot crimps all around the cage feeder, swim feeder, and an elastic, most definitely fixed, and also a big barbed, fully barbed. It's like a C hook, right? It might have been a 1-0. It wasn't a fucking carp hook. Whoever that wanker is, this bit you deserved. Because when I grabbed hold of the swim feeder and I'm pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, yeah, I'm pulling it a bit more, and the top eye of a rod started to emerge. And then the second, third, fourth, fifth, and the reel eventually popped out. So I caught myself a 6-foot carp stalking rod, £2 test curve, and a Fox Stratos reel. Well, you might not have lost that if you were on a running rig with the right tackle. So yeah, bit of an outcome. Got myself about 100 quid worth of kit for fuck all. Just needs cleaning up. Full overhaul of the reel will be done later today. Take it to pieces, oil it all up. It's working now, just feels a bit clunky, it's probably got some mud in it. But yeah, bonus. The Nomad was screaming across at me. You fucking keeping it? No, I'm going to throw it back in. Yeah, of course I'm going to keep it. It'll be good for girls. 6 foot rod, so it'll be ideal, especially for the little. Just a little chat about the girls. I'm sat, as you can probably tell, in my wonderful back garden. Big tree behind me, my oak tree. The reason being that all I can hear is one, i.e. Nikita, 12-year-old. She's watching, you probably know this if you've got kids, it's Alpha Dog Shit Beta Mark 7.4, some sort of fucking bobbins, anime wank. They don't even speak, they just do facial expressions. Christina, she's playing Shycraft. Now, back when I was a kid and I had a Spectrum 48K, the graphics were better then than Shycraft. But she loves it. She likes building stuff, and I suppose it's like modern Lego. It's shit. So, back to the fishing trip. So, not much is happening. I mean, it's pretty bad. Me and Drew haven't moved. The Nomad's on swim number 3, lodge number 2. Then he moves again, and he goes back in the bay that he was originally in, and it becomes apparent then that he's a bit of a duck magnet, because every duck on the planet just decided to sit in his swim. He's trying to bait it up, and the ducks are trying to stop him from baiting it up, and he's getting mad, and there's quite a few expletives came from that direction. Now he's a Salford idiot. From sunny Manchester, but they won't like it because it's Salford, it's his own city, you see. So all you can hear is, oh, fuck off, fucking ducks, oh, you like that kid, oh, fucking care, it's fucking crap this, I fucking hate it. Sounded scouse, didn't it? But, no, but he proper Salfordian. And I ain't our kid, and I fucking can't seem to do fuck all right here. So, he's now in swim number 4, and Drew, his left hand rod, screams off and pulls in a lovely cruising carp. Not really notable size, probably £1.5, so it's good fish, but I've got to say, of all the carp species, I think cruisins, they're probably the prettiest. So anyway, he catches that, and then I get her on. Now I've told the Nomad to basically sit on his hands. The pressure's changing, and obviously the pressure change brings the fish onto the feed. The sun's dropping, so they're not going to be on the top of the water as much. And just to sort of hang fire, give it mid-afternoon, fish will start to come. Anyway, a couple of people milling around on walks, and then I get what can only be described as man and boy. A man and boy, every lodge has got a man and boy. And you'll understand what I mean by this. You will. Let me say, man and boy isn't a dobber. Man and boy is man and boy. So he has a walk round, and he stops in pretty much every single swim as he comes round. Not a bit fishing, like, you know, all down that far bank there was nobody there. But he's got a knowing look about him, like, well, it becomes apparent why he's got a knowing look. So he comes, and as you can probably tell, I'm quite a talkative chap. So I just try to cough a lung up. Anyway, man and boy comes, and he sort of, I don't think he sees the Nomad on lodge number 2. Maybe Nomad's gone for something from the shop, like, you want anything? So he comes, and he stands next to me, like, what you doing? A couple. I'd had 2 fish by this point. Yeah, I had a couple. Fished here for 50 years. Good water. Alright. And then that would have been enough. But no. He spots the rod I've pulled in. Oh, is that your snide rod? Under it margins. No, 2 rods there. That's just what I've pulled in. Well, you dragged that in, did you? Happened to me a while back, did that. I ran up the lodge and I did turn down to get phone, and next thing I know, rod's bobbing along. Got a cork handle, cork handle. Yeah. And every sort of like 10 minutes I can see cork handle in a different place. At lodge, any road. A bit later that day, I was lucky. It were a 600 quid rod that with cork handle. They mentioned cork handle. I was lucky it had that, because I got hold of it later on at bottom end at lodge. It popped up. So I went round quicker than Flash Gordon. I think they call him these days, you kids. Flash Gordon. Went round quicker than that, got there, and I grabbed hold of cork handle. Fish was still on, landed it. £18 common it were. Still on rod with cork handle. I was lucky that day. Like you, I've done plenty of catching of other people's tackle. I've had the occasional top section of a pole, I'm like, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, so fishing this lodge before it were a lodge, before it were even dug, it was type of bloke. If you'd been to the moon, he'd been twice. Yeah. I told him best fish, £10.3 today. I had a £12.6 yesterday morning. I'm not disputing it, man and boy. But he'd been fishing this lodge. Man and boy. Before it was dug, he dug it. See that wall over there? Yeah, when I used to come, there weren't a wall there. With my own sweat and spit, I compressed sand into tiny little stones, and then stones into bigger stones. I built that wall with my own hands. You know why they dug that lodge? I haven't got a clue, mate, no. Neither do I. Anyway, he rocks on like this for about... Seriously, I must just have dickhead written on my head, because he'd think, he fucking must know what he's doing this, but I'll fucking chat to him for 25 minutes. Half an hour, he decides to fuck off, and I'm not joking, he stops every single swim, right? As he gets about 4 swims down, rods start going. It's getting a bit more lively. Caught a couple more fish, ended up with 5 for a day. Drew got the moss species, because he had 2 crucians, a common and chub. Mine were all commons. I think a couple of them were F1s. Beautiful fish. One thing I will say for the water is the fish are in absolute pristine condition. Finished up with a £10 14 ounce. So I was quite happy. I felt a bit gutted for Niall, because he brought us to this water, and after fishing 317 swims, digging himself 2 new ponds, he didn't catch. But he's fixed that today, because word on the old Twitter feed is he's had a personal best mirror from the other water that we were going to go. So, well done. Kudos there. Well done for sticking at it and getting stuck back in. I apologise for taking the piss. Do I fuckers like? I'm always going to take the piss out of you, mate. A few little nods out. We've got Danny and Tammy, right? They're not actually from down south. They're from Birmingham. Well, that way. So, sorry for doing the shitty accents. But kudos to you two. And thank you for the tips, Danny boy. The secret definitely worked. To now, obviously you were there. Well done, Arcade, for catching a PB. Anyone else? Yeah, got Matty Carter. I mean, he's an avid follower of Twitter and lovely messages. Got to thank you all for the lovely messages. I'm going to say thank you to Cherry Carper as well. KMT, it's working wonders as well. Plus your stinky liquid. Plus a little addition from myself. And that's pretty much going to be the size of it for today. half an hour of boring the bollocks off you. I've got an NGT 6-foot stoker rod and a Stratos reel for sale. No, I'm joking. They're for the girls. But yeah, tight lines to everyone. And all I can say is, Nomad, sit on your hands. I want to get you a fucking dog lead. I'm going to tie you to a tree. Sit on it. If we're fishing somewhere like Raisbury, yeah, if it's not showing, you've got like different waters in different waters, and I understand that moving sometimes does catch the fish. I didn't say anything. It was him later on in the night. He said, I don't think I should have moved around as much. It proved it. I bet he hasn't moved today. He's been on them and he's caught himself a personal best. So, caps off to you, mate. Love you all. Say that for now.